takes a closer look and realizes the truck driver is none other than Wolf, the notorious highway killer. Terrified, Paul turns to run. Wolf's old pickup is totaled, so he's driving a semi-truck to borrow. The original owner is dead in the cab. Paul checks his gas gauge. It's running on empty, just like his life. He tries to think of a plan, but out in this endless desert, there's nowhere to run. The massive truck keeps rounding, and Paul starts losing hope. Just as he thinks he's done for, he hits an uphill slope. The truck slows down. Seeing the rig fall behind, Paul starts laughing hysterically until his tire blows out. He slams on the brakes, skidding to a halt inches from a cliff edge. The truck is closing in. Paul tries to bail, but his door is jammed against the guardrail. He braces for impact, thinking this is it. Miraculously, he survives the crash. He even has the nerve to hop out and yell, "You'll have to do better than that." But the nightmare isn't over. He grabs some supplies, but before he can even take a sip of water, the truck comes charging through. He barely dodges it and keeps running on foot. Hours later, dehydrated and exhausted, Paul finds a small house and passes out. He wakes up in a bed, rescued by an old couple. They feed him, but when he asks to use the phone, the old man says the lines are dead out here. Suddenly, Wolf's voice booms from outside, "You're the hero." The old man grabs a gun and warns Wolf to leave. Wolf smiles and walks away. The old man tells Paul and his wife to head to the car while he grabs his other rifle. But when he checks the cabinet, his gun is gone, replaced by Wolf's sniper rifle. Shit. The wife goes to check outside and gets sniped immediately. Wolf finishes her off, and Paul bolts out the back door. Wolf doesn't shoot, he just smiles and hops on the old man's horse to give chase. Wolf stalks him until nightfall, eventually catching and knocking him out. Paul wakes up tied to a chair in a dungeon. Wolf holds a knife to his throat, asking why he saved the girl earlier. Paul lies, claiming he only saved her because he wanted to use her himself. Wolf thinks he's found a fellow psychopath and decides to share a drink. He unties one of Paul's hands. Wolf proposes a game, 10 trivia questions. Get 5 right, go free. Get 1 wrong, lose a finger. Paul nails the history questions, but Wolf saws off his finger anyway, claiming he hates technicalities. Paul gets a sports question right, but Wolf cuts him again. Paul asks to switch hands, pretending it's about the pain, but really, he wants to reach a nearby hammer. Wolf agrees. When Wolf goes to get more booze, Paul grabs the hammer. Wolf comes back and tells Paul to put on a dress. Paul plays along, then smashes Wolf with a hammer and runs. He sprints through tunnels filled with bodies of previous victims. He finds keys but drops them in panic when he hears Wolf. He dodges attack dogs, one dies in a trap, and finally finds an exit. He spots a pit trap and waits to ambush Wolf, but accidentally catches Wolf wandering the tunnels instead. Wolf appears behind him, grabs him, and headbutts him cold. Paul wakes up later, battered and lying on a city sidewalk with a note, "You lose." Wolf let him go. Based on true events, the movie ends with Paul being interrogated by police. He's so mentally broken that he's sent to a psychiatric hospital.